Like me, you might look at this gangly mess of red ribbons sometimes and wonder, what's the deal with Gangle? Personally, I never paid much attention to them or Zubul, but maybe this character is a lot more interesting than we think. Let's see here, low self-esteem, anxiety, depression, probably internalized attraction to Jax, fear of showing emotions, bipolar. So, basically a representation of you, the viewer. Jokes aside, let's figure out how Gangle's avatar gimmick actually works first. Her face is one of those masks that drama performers used to wear, symbolically representing negative emotions. Fun fact, there are actually different masks from the common duo, but of course she has the two icons, the comedy mask and the tragedy mask. Naturally she dons the tragedy mask, but can also wear the comedy mask. However, unlike your usual performer, Gangle's face is literally the two masks. But the more important questions you may be wondering is, how does the mask actually work? Well, whenever she puts on the comedy mask, she experiences boosted happiness, switching to a more joyful personality unlike her typically negative self when she has the tragedy mask on. Great, right? Well, if you don't know, the comedy mask is extremely fragile and will often break during the adventures one way or another, usually due to bunny-related hazards.
I actually didn't mean to do that.
However, according to statements from Gooseworks, the tragedy mask can actually break.
If
Can
she
the
was a
sad one
happy,
break?
joyful person, then I think the sad one would be able to break more.
It's a bit strange because this implies the happy mask can be her face without the tragedy mask, but all we see during the show is her putting it atop the tragedy mask. It also raises some questions such as, can she take both off? Does she have a secret face underneath? Does she even have a head? Is she just a pile of red ribbons pretending to be a human? What even is Gangle anymore? From episode 4 and 6, we already understand her basic human origins. Basically, she was an artist inspired by anime and webcomics, and attending a graphic design course in community college. However, she ended up getting stuck as a fast food manager, and we can see how much she hates being a manager in episode 4. Poor Gangle. Anyways, time to get a little more conspiratorial. The mask definitely holds some symbolic meaning, but we can only theorize what that is. However, I believe Gangle's masks are not physically changing her, but rather a portrayal of her fractured personality and how she chooses to present herself. She's naturally a more negative kind of person, but that doesn't mean she doesn't have the capacity to think positively every once in a while. That's her comedy mask. But that happiness is fragile. One bad accident and it all falls apart, and she can't bring herself to have the confidence or mental stability to be positive. Anyways, before this short can end here, take a look at this thing. This is probably some foreshadowing of some kind, but I don't really know. Oh, and she did some weird things with the body pillow and an anime figurine. How do you think she gets her mask back every day though? Maybe Kane just materializes into her room and spawns when it hits midnight.